This is my last poem, and this is, man, this poem's for my little brother, but it's also just about a lot of what I've been thinking about recently. So this year, this is the first year I ever turned down a check for a performance. And that's because a school in New York City asked me to come perform at a conference. And I'd read in a New York City newspaper 2 weeks before that they put a black boy in a sensory deprivation room as a way of putting him on timeout. He was 7 years old, and he had a panic attack, right? And so after I read that story in the paper, I contacted the people immediately, and I was like, look, I have real problems with the disciplinary procedures. It was KIPP. So I was like, I have real problems with the way that KIPP does discipline in their schools. And it was weird. It feels weird to turn down money. I can't lie. So I was like, dang, could have done some cool stuff with that. Could have got some shirts. You know, like, you ever lose money, you're like, damn, that could have been just lots of like plantains, and I like chicken soup. I don't know, there are many things I like that I could have bought. But in any case, for me, that moment was about integrity, and in like a real way. That forced me to be like, look, what kind of world do I want to live in? I want to live in a world where like predominantly like young people of color and poor and working class white folk aren't like subject to these various kinds of discipline. Because I went to school with rich people, right? And ostensibly what people seem to argue is that rich kids need art and like information, right? And poor kids and kids of color need discipline, right? That so often you see schools like the school I went to from the time I was like 5 to 13, and we had metal detectors, right? 11 years old, right? Having a wand waved over me to make sure I don't have weapons. So what was the lesson I was learning every day about what was expected of me, right? It was expected that I was violent, that I didn't love my friends, that I wanted to hurt people and do bad things, right? So I've been learning a lot just about myself and what I want to leave on this planet, and part of it is a different way of thinking about school, different ways that we can do school and think about education as a process of sharing, right? Not as I'm up here banking information, right? Like depositing knowledge in your heads, but that it can be a back and forth experience. This is from my little brother who was diagnosed with autism 12 years ago, and in the time since, my whole family has just been trying to think in different ways about the human imagination. Levi is really, he's an interesting cat, man. I think he's the only person that will outright just like flame my dad, like will just disrespect him. So like 2 months ago, my dad was like, Levi, come in the kitchen. Levi was like, I'm busy. And then just like went back. My dad is a Marine, yo. Like, my dad like survived Jim Crow, like integrated his high school. My dad is like a G, son. I saw this man climb a house. That doesn't even make sense. When you think about it, I saw him do it. We were locked out of the house. This man, dead up, climbed the house with no ladder, just straight up Peter Parker. Climbed that, and he broke in the window and then opened the door very casually. He's very frightening in that way. Southern black, real quiet, fly, man. He's so fly. I love my pop, man. But yeah, my little brother was like, fall back. You know what I'm saying? Like, Spotify time. Because he's like, oh, school's over, it's Spotify time. It's me, chilling, I'm on here. It's Miguel, Schoolboy Q, whatever it is. Like, that's what he's listening to. And he's like, everybody, let me do my thing. And so this poem is for him. It's for, I guess, the folks that have been told that your brain doesn't work right? That you don't think the right way. So it's for many of us. It's for many of us. In 1851, a physician named Dr. Samuel Cartwright coined this term, drapetomania. It's a disease characterized by these following symptoms. It creates within the Negro an uncontrollable desire to escape. It is a disease firmly bound to freedom. When I read about Dr. Cartwright, my mind sets sail towards the face of my younger brother. 12 years ago, a neurologist cast the word autism like a giant fishing net over his brain and took my entire family under the tide with it. The doctors never used the word gifts. Never thought to suggest that maybe Levi's words just weren't rusty anchors like the rest of ours. They're jellyfish. You think you can see right through them, but it's only because you're too fixated on the surface. They keep telling him, think like assembly line. But his mind is more like the world's most elaborate circus. All trapeze and lion teeth, drumbeat and riotous laughter that can shake the moon out of its skin. Every sentence is a staccato hymn sung in the midst of a world that has forgotten how to value silence. When did the brain become an appliance? When did we start doing Dr. Cartwright's work for him, treating our children like chattel, turning our schools into asylums where we medicate based on myth? This is not just about my younger brother. It is about our obsession with normalcy and the wars we have waged in its name. This is for Christopher Baker, a 13-year-old boy from Lexington, Kentucky, whose teacher stuffed him in a duffel bag and just left him there for 20 minutes, a flailing albatross, desperate for sky when his mother burst through the classroom doors. I can just picture his name falling like a tiny revolution from her mouth and overturning the silence that had conquered the room. Levi. They will try to comfort you too. They will tell you to lift and work and laugh on cue. If you can't muster the emotion, then just fake it, like all the other good robots do. Be like me. Be social butterfly. Be gender normative wing, smile big, smile pretty. Be quarterback, point guard, catcall courageous. Be bicep, be jackhammer spark. Call beautiful people ugly. Mean it with all of your heart. Your scribbles, they're the scribbles, Levi. Don't dare call them art. Don't dare be a mystery. There is no space for your kind of beautiful here. No room for Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner tech visions, spinning shackles into vapor. We have seen what can happen when a mind goes unchained. They have built entire industries around keeping modern day Michelangelos in check. How many children? Too many children. Too many masterfully written lives pushed into the ground. When will we call this a war on creativity? Please, stop calling my little brother diseased. He's not sick. His mind is an unmapped archipelago. Every idea a former slave gone free. So the next time they try to tell you that your neurons are a crime, little brother, please tell them this for me. Tell them that Levi is just shorthand for levitate. That your calling's to the clouds. You would pay them a lot more attention, but you are chilling, having a conversation with God right now. Then smile for them. Smile big if you want to. Smile pretty. Teach their wounded imaginations to fly because you were built that way. A genius with jellyfish for words. Divine, divine, divine.